Gentlemen over 60, pay close attention here. If you roll out of bed and that old reliable morning salute is nowhere to be found, if the fire you used to feel has just fizzled out without warning, hold on. It's not the end of the road. Not by a long shot. Your body's not throwing in the towel. Those rock-solid mornings, they're not lost for good. They've just hit the snooze button, waiting for the nudge that gets them firing on all cylinders again. I'm Dr. Emma Carter, a board-certified urologist with 18 years under my belt, guiding guys just like you back to that spark, the kind that fuels real connection, that quiet swagger, and yeah, that unshakable confidence. No sketchy pills or invasive fixes here. We're talking straightforward know-how, a couple of smart presses, and breaths that hit deep. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on two game-changing spots you probably never knew existed. These bad boys crank up the circulation, jolt the nerves awake, and deliver that morning edge. Safe as houses, steady as she goes, and built to stick. Before we dive in, give this a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and drop a comment on where you're tuning in from. We're building this crew from coast to coast, Texas to Toronto, Sydney to Seattle, and I want to know you're out there with me. Look, if I could sit down with every guy past 60 over a coffee, I'd tell him straight. Losing those wake-up calls doesn't spell game over for your gear. It just means the wires got a little dusty. Your system's still wired right. Those vessels, primed and ready. Your fella down there, he's itching for a wake-up call. Thing is, after decades of the daily grind, sitting through meetings, pounding the pavement, or just kicking back in that recliner, the channels for blood and those electric signals get clogged up from neglect. Kinda like the back porch light at your cabin up in the Rockies or down by the Billabong. Power's humming, but nobody's flicked the switch in ages. One quick flip and bam, whole place glows. That's the deal with getting it up. I think back to my patient Jack, 72, a retired mechanic from outside Calgary. He grumbled, "Doc, forget the bedroom stuff. I just want to feel the engine turn over again." 4 weeks into the routine I'm about to lay out, he rings me up. "Emma, this morning felt like the old V8 roaring to life. Damn if it didn't." That's the real scoop on getting older and staying solid. You ain't busted. You just need to remember where the ignition is. And that first key? It's tucked right in a spot most folks breeze past without a second thought. Spot 1, the perineum lock, the foundation. Nestled between your boys and the back door, that's the perineum. Folks in traditional Chinese practices call it the wellspring of vigor. Over here in the States, or up in the Great White North, we don't chat about it much in the clinic. But man, it's a powerhouse for keeping things pumping. Here's why. This little patch works like a gatekeeper for the rush of blood and the zing of nerves straight to your core muscle. Get it knotted or overlooked, and it's like kinking the garden hose before a summer barbecue. Everything downstream runs dry. Right under there, the bulbocavernosus crew and the pudendal line, both non-negotiables for that lift and the feel-good rush. To kick it into gear, grab a folded beach towel or that spare throw pillow, wedge it right under the zone and settle in. Inhale slow and full, like you're savoring that first sip of Tim Hortons or a cold one after mowing the lawn. Let the weight do the talking. No shoving, no wince. Just sink in and tune out the world. Give it a handful of breaths, and fellas often report this cozy heat spreading, a buzz, or hell, a subtle throb. That's your wiring lighting up the board again. Take my guy Frank, 69, a former logger from the Aussie outback who'd moved stateside. He confessed, "Doc, it's been dark down south for years, like the generator crapped out." A week of this, and he's on the line. "Emma, there's a hum now. Feels like the bush is buzzing back to life." That shift, it's everything. 'Cause once you catch that first hint of the motor humming, the whole outlook flips from "what's the point" to "hell yeah, let's roll." Crack that gate open and the floodgates pour. Blood cruises easy, signals snap sharp, and your trusty sidekick snaps to what it's meant for. Ain't inventing the wheel here. Just dusting off the one you've had all along. Now spot 2. The groin trail, the main drag. This one's snaking along the soft fold where your thigh kisses your belly. Inner seam, right at the hip hinge. You might figure that's just for hiking the Appalachian Trail or a stroll along the harbor, but buried along that path, prime real estate, the femoral main line, hauling oxygen-rich fuel to your hole downstairs, and the femoral wire, piping commands all through your hips and beyond. When they stiffen up, from desk jobs, long hauls on the interstate, or just easing into the easy chair, your whole setup downstairs goes on low battery. My patient Roy, 67, a school bus driver out of Phoenix with roots in Nova Scotia, laughed it off. "Doc, my legs? They're for the pedals, not the fireworks." I just grinned and said, "Humor me for 10 days. He eased his fingers along that crease, kneading light where it griped, sinking with those belly-deep pulls of air. By day 5, he's texting, "Weird as hell, but there's a glow starting, like the radiator's finally kicking in." 10 days on, he follows up, "Emma, mornings hit different now. Like I got my road warrior back. This trail's more than a circulation boost. It's a mindset rebuild." 'Cause when you link back to that lower body hum, you're linking to the grit that got you through raising kids, building that deck, or weathering those prairie storms. Your core drive, that steady pulse, the no BS pride. Getting firm takes a tag team. The pump for the flood, the sparks for the signal. When one lags, those dawn risers fade, 'cause the dispatch from upstairs to down got fuzzy. These 2 spots sharpen the line. The perineum flips the local lock on flow and fire. The groin trail clears the expressway to your basin. Get both online and nature takes the wheel. Up and at 'em, just like the blueprint says. To lock this in for the long haul, layer on 3 no-fuss routines that'll stick like glue. First off, 5 minutes of gut breaths each dawn. Think pulling air down to your belt buckle. Pumps up that natural vessel softener, nitric oxide, keeps things loose and lively. Second, chase your wake up with a mug of warm lemon water. Gets the pipes primed before the coffee ritual. Third, dial back the sweets after sundown. Shields those lines from gunk and fortifies the stand-up power. Blend these with the presses, and you're scripting a comeback story, Jack. That 72-year-old from Calgary wrapped it up best. First time in a dozen years, I hit the floor feeling the full charge. These yarns, they shout it loud. Your rig doesn't clock out, it craves the cue. Right now, carve out those 5 hushed minutes at first light. Ease into the perineum press and trace that groin line with a feather touch. Pull those breaths low and lean in. Just sense it. Give it a couple weeks, and most guys clock the heat building, the grip returning. You ain't scrapping over the hill. Your setup tunes in sharp when you dial it up. If this lit a fire, smash that like, subscribe for more straight talk, and pass it to a buddy nursing the same quiet mornings. I'm Dr. Emma Carter, and here's the kicker. Getting seasoned? It ain't curtains for the drive. It's the launch to a richer, fiercer ride.